Divorce is the one thing people really want to hear. Michelle Obama talk about right now in a recent public appearance. She broke her silence in a way no one expected. Was it confirmation? Was it denial? Or was it something even more shocking? For the first time, Michelle Obama opened up about the real struggles behind the rumors, hinting at the pressures, the breaking points, and the truth she's kept hidden for so long. What did she reveal? And is this just the beginning of an even bigger story? Let's find out. Michelle Obama has never been one to shy away from discussing the realities of marriage. From candidly revealing that there were times she couldn't stand Barack Obama to openly advocating for therapy. She has long positioned herself as someone who values transparency in relationships. So when she launched her new podcast, in my opinion, listeners were eager to hear her thoughts, especially on the subject of divorce. The anticipation wasn't misplaced in IMO produced by the Obama's media company, Higher Ground. Michelle sits down with her older brother, Craig Robinson, to discuss life relationships and personal dilemmas. The timing of this podcast, however, couldn't be more interesting. Divorce rumors about the Obamas have been swirling for months, fueled by tabloid headlines and speculative reports. In August, In Touch Weekly ran a sensational cover story suggesting that Michelle had been betrayed and that Barack Obama was obsessed with actress Jennifer Aniston. The claim was widely dismissed, but the whispers didn't stop there. Barack has been spotted alone at various high-profile events, including President Jimmy Carter's funeral and a Washington, D.C. dinner, further fueling speculation. Jennifer Aniston herself addressed the absurdity of the rumor on Jimmy Kimmel Live, laughing it off as absolutely untrue. Meanwhile, the Obamas have seemingly responded in their own way by posting affectionate photos and messages to each other on social media, yet the public remains intrigued, searching for any hints of trouble in paradise. Given the swirling rumors, IMO seemed like the perfect platform for Michelle to set the record straight. Instead, the first 2 episodes focus on her bond with Craig, their childhood experiences and broader discussions on relationships. Episode 1 is largely dedicated to their sibling dynamic, while Episode 2 takes a detour into the nature of friendship, featuring actress and producer Issa Rae. While both episodes touch on Craig's divorce, they lack the depth or drama that some listeners were expecting. The podcast's official description promises a relaxed and honest Michelle Obama tackling topics from dating to financial planning. But so far, the show has largely stayed in safe territory, avoiding anything too personal or revelatory. Perhaps this was intentional. Initially, Michelle doesn't feel the need to address rumors or air any marital struggles in a public forum, but just when you think the podcast is playing it safe. The latest episodes drop some truly unexpected revelations. Before we dive into what Michelle actually said, let's rewind to the moment it all began. The day she met Barack. Michelle Robinson was not looking for love when she first met Barack Obama. In the summer of 1989, she was a driven, ambitious young attorney at the prestigious Chicago law firm Sidley & Austin. As fate would have it, a promising summer associate was assigned. To her as a mentee, his name was Barack Obama. Tall, charismatic, and effortlessly confident, he had an aura that was hard to ignore. But for Michelle, their professional relationship was just that professional Barack. However, was instantly intrigued. He admired Michelle's intellect, grace, and strong sense of self. She, on the other hand, was skeptical. Office romances were messy, and she wasn't interested in becoming part of one. But Barack was persistent. and his charm slowly started to break. Down her reservations, when he finally convinced her to go on a date, he made sure it was unforgettable. Their first official outing included a visit to the Art Institute of Chicago, a long walk, and a movie, Do the Right Thing. Asterisk by Spike Lee. The date, much like their love story, was full of depth, thoughtfulness, and great conversation. From that moment on, their bond grew stronger. Michelle admired Barack's vision, his deep sense of purpose, and his unwavering optimism. He was unlike anyone she had ever met, and soon love blossomed between them. Barack, ever the romantic, proposed to Michelle in 1991, during a dinner that started as a debate over marriage when dessert arrived. So did the ring. They tied the knot on October 3rd, 1992. In a beautiful Chicago ceremony, their wedding was a celebration of love, family, and the journey they were about to embark on together. But life was never going to be simple for the Obamas. As Barack pursued a career in politics, Michelle faced the challenge of balancing her own professional ambitions with their growing family. Their love was tested through long campaigns, political pressures, and personal sacrifices. But they remained each other's rock. Adding to the pressures were relentless rumors and conspiracy theories, including false claims about Michelle's identity and background public speculation about her personal life, including baseless claims about her gender and sexuality, put additional strain on their marriage. On top of that, Michelle has openly discussed their difficulties, revealing that she underwent IVF treatments to have their daughters. Yet through it all, they held on to their love, proving that even in the spotlight, a marriage can thrive with patience, communication, and mutual respect. They welcomed their daughters Malia in 1998 and Sasha in 2001. And as their family grew, so did their commitment to one another, from a simple summer meeting to the White House. And beyond their love remains one of the most inspiring in modern history. Now let's get back to Michelle's podcast, where she reveals surprising truths about marriage, the struggles, and the small bedtime moments no one talks about. One of the most amusing and relatable details Michelle shared was how she and Barack don't always agree on bedtime. For Michelle, sleep is sacred. Bedtime is the best time of the day. She confessed on the Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey podcast. She loves getting into fresh sheets, feeling the coolness of the bed and winding down early. But Barack, ever, the night owl, doesn't understand her love for turning in early. My husband teases me about how early I can go to bed, she said with a laugh. However, she added that when guests are over, she makes an exception, staying up later to enjoy the company, though the moment they leave, she's ready to retreat. She also shared one of her biggest pet peeves about Barack, his struggle with punctuality. Barack. He had to adjust to what on time was. For me, she revealed, for Michelle, being on time means being fully ready at the agreed-upon departure time. But for Barack, it meant starting to look for his glasses at the last minute. I was like, dude, a 3 departure means you've done all that. She joked over the years he has improved, but early in their marriage, this was a challenge she had to make clear, was non-negotiable. Michelle also reminisced about their daughters Malia and Sasha, and how they felt about public life. One hilarious memory she shared was about the White House's annual turkey pardon ceremony, while most people see it as a fun and festive tradition. Teenage Malia and Sasha saw it differently. It was cute when they were little, but as they got older, you could see on their faces in the shots, thinking, just poke my eyes out just right now, just get me out of here. I'm standing with my father, telling these stupid jokes. next to a turkey, Michelle recalled, painting a vivid picture of their teenage embarrassment beyond family life. Michelle opened up about some personal quirks. She has an unexpected love for the scent of pine. Saw the smell takes her back to her childhood, reminding her of the freshly cleaned apartment she grew up in. She even gave the cleaning product a shout-out during an ad read, proving how deeply ingrained those nostalgic memories are. Another unexpected revelation: Michelle is into astrology. She casually mentioned being a Capricorn in the first episode of IMO, but later went deeper, explaining how knowing her zodiac sign has helped her understand herself better. It's fair to set boundaries, but I think it starts with knowing, well, who do I want to be, she said honesty. First has to be within yourself. I think both of us. Probably Capricorns were probably a little more honest about who we are, what we want through her podcast. Michelle Obama provides an authentic glimpse into the nuances of marriage, proving that, even after 30 years, small things still matter other than light-hearted moments. She also discussed some tough times. When Barack Obama first expressed his desire to run for president, Michelle Obama's immediate reaction wasn't excitement. It was skepticism. She thought the idea was crazy and wasn't immediately on board. The thought of exposing their family to the relentless scrutiny of national politics, the grueling campaign trail, and the inevitable personal sacrifices felt overwhelming to Michelle. The life they had built in Chicago was comfortable, fulfilling, and stable. Why risk all that? In a candid moment on her podcast, Michelle revealed how her brother Craig Robinson played a pivotal role in shifting her perspective. She admitted, I couldn't have spent 8 years in the White House without my older brother Craig, who had always been a steady source of guidance in her life. Helped her see the bigger picture, he reminded her of Barack's deep sense of purpose and his belief in creating real change. Still, Michelle had concerns, not just about the grueling nature of the campaign, but also about the impact on their 2 young daughters, Malia and Sasha. The 2008 campaign was brutal. Barack was running on a message of hope and change. But behind the scenes, Michelle was dealing with an intense wave of criticism. She was scrutinized for everything from her facial expressions to her fashion choices. She was even labeled as angry by critics who took issue with her candor. The pressure was immense, but Michelle refused to let the negativity define her. Instead, she leaned into her authenticity, focusing on her role as a mother first and a political spouse second. Even after Barack's historic victory, Michelle wasn't completely at ease. The transition into the White House came with its own set of challenges. Suddenly they were under a microscope, like never before. Simple family outings required heavy security, and their daughters' lives became the subject of endless media speculation. The weight of the presidency wasn't just on Barack's shoulders, it was on hers too. The pressures of the presidency could have easily pulled them apart, but they made a conscious effort to stay connected, often carving out time for date nights amidst their demanding schedules. Reflecting on those years, Michelle admits that while she initially resisted the idea of Barack running, she ultimately found purpose in the journey she went from being skeptical to becoming one of his biggest supporters. After sharing these personal struggles, the big moment arrived: divorce talk. But instead of opening up about her own marriage, Michelle first shifted the focus to her brothers. Divorce leaving everyone curious and wanting more. Michelle Obama has always shared a deep, unbreakable bond with her older brother Craig Robinson. They grew up side by side, supporting each other through life's ups and downs. But when Craig went through one of the most difficult moments of his life, his divorce from his first wife, Janice Robinson Michelle, was left in the dark. In the first episode of their new podcast, Michelle opened up about how blindsided she felt when she finally learned that her brother's marriage had fallen apart for years. She had missed the warning signs, not realizing that Craig was quietly struggling. She admitted that she had sensed something was off, but dismissed her instincts when Craig insisted that everything was fine. Craig, now. 62 revealed that he had deliberately kept the divorce a secret from Michelle, their mother, and the rest of their family. His reason: he knew how deeply Michelle cared, and he was afraid of how she would react. "I knew my sister," Craig confessed, "and I thought if I told her, she would never get over it. If Janice and I ever worked things out, it wouldn't be good for my first wife hearing this." Michelle was stunned. She had always believed that no matter what happened, Craig would come to her, first learning that he had faced such a painful experience. Alone hurt her deeply. "I was really angry," she admitted. "I depended on Craig more than anyone. I could tell him anything, but when he was dealing with one of the hardest things in his life, he didn't feel like he could tell me." She recalled the moments when she had sensed something was wrong, the red flag she ignored. Looking back, she realized she had asked him how he was doing. Many times, and every time he had reassured her with the same words. "We're great. We're good," that she now understood had been a lie. Craig admitted that keeping his divorce a secret had been a mistake in the moment he thought he was protecting himself and Michelle. But in reality, it had only created distance between them. Michelle, ever the protective sister, told him that no matter how difficult the situation, she would have been there for him. "Even if you thought I couldn't handle it, I would have pulled myself together," she said. "I would have given you sound advice and stayed neutral." Craig ultimately remarried in 2006, finding love again with Kelly McCrum, while he has mostly kept his personal life out of the spotlight since this podcast episode gave listeners a rare glimpse into a moment of real vulnerability between the siblings. For Michelle, the experience was a painful reminder that even the closest relationships can have hidden cracks. And for Craig, it was a lesson. Learned one he promised never to repeat, just as the conversation took a serious turn toward divorce. Everyone leaned in, expecting Michelle to finally break her silence on the swirling rumors about her own marriage. During the discussion, she acknowledged that rumors and gossip had constantly swirled around their family, from false claims about Barack's birthplace to doubts about their patriotism and education. But one rumor never seemed to fade the speculation that she and Barack were heading for a divorce. Instead of directly confirming or denying the speculation, Michelle chose to reflect on how she and her family had learned to cope with relentless public scrutiny. "People always ask me and Barack, how do we stay hopeful? Not just during the 8 years in the White House, but beyond," she said. "Because let me tell you, there was a lot of negative energy flipping our way. A lot of rumors, a lot of gossip." She explained that they made a conscious decision to block out the noise. One key rule: staying far away from the comment section on social media. "I don't think I've ever once looked at a comment section, period." She revealed it was a lesson she and Barack instilled in their daughters Malia and Sasha, knowing that the internet could be a cruel place. Michelle's strategy to ignore negativity sparked curiosity. Was this her way of dismissing the divorce rumors without directly addressing them? Listeners hoped she would finally clear the air, but instead she emphasized the importance of staying grounded in family values and keeping personal matters private. By choosing not to tackle the rumors head-on, Michelle left the audience with more questions than answers. While she reassured listeners about the strength of her marriage, Through her reflections, she never explicitly denied the speculation. However, this past Valentine's Day, the former president showed the marriage was still going strong, sharing a touching tribute to his wife of more than 30 years, 32 years together, and you still take my breath away. He wrote on X, sharing a happy photograph of the couple. Her silence during the podcast was powerful. It cleared the air to some extent, but people still wanted to hear the truth from her own mouth. Michelle Obama's journey through marriage and family life has taught her some invaluable lessons, many of which she shared on her IMO podcast. One of the biggest lessons she learned is that love alone is not enough to sustain a marriage commitment. Communication and patience are just as important. She openly admitted that there were times she struggled in her relationship with Barack, especially during his demanding political career. Yet instead of walking away, they worked through their issues by prioritizing open conversations and seeking therapy when needed. Another key lesson, she emphasized, is that relationships evolve. She learned that difficult seasons don't mean failure. Rather, they test and strengthen a couple's bond. She believes that expecting constant perfection in a marriage is unrealistic, and that long-term commitment requires both partners to adapt and grow together. Lastly, Michelle believes in embracing change. Whether it's staying together or parting ways, she encourages people to make decisions based on what truly serves their happiness and well-being. Through her experiences, she has come to see that resilience, honesty, and emotional growth are the true markers of a strong relationship, not just staying together at all costs. As the discussion wrapped up, Michelle reinforced the reason behind launching her podcast. With everything going on in the world, we're all looking for answers and people to turn to. She said, Craig and I created this space to have honest conversations, ask tough questions, and find ways to keep pushing forward through her podcast. Michelle hopes to inspire deeper conversations about love, commitment, and the reality of long-term relationships. And with that she left listeners hanging was her silence. A strategic move to shut down speculation, or did it hint at something more? The mystery remains.